as Iran quietly cedes the Strait of Hormuz with its minisub fleet. Is the US Navy now facing a stealth threat under the waves that could matter more than any missile battery on shore? With Ghadir minisubs reportedly sitting trigger-ready beneath the world's key oil choke point. How fast could Iran flip Hormuz from shipping lane to ambush zone if talks collapse? If more than 24 of these tiny boats now stalk tankers in shallow, noisy waters, can advanced US patrol aircraft really pick them out from the clutter before they strike? And when Iran boasts a sub that can slip its moorings, dive, and vanish in 30 seconds, can Trump's commanders keep up with Mujtaba's underwater traps without slowing their entire fleet to a crawl? Why do so many US naval planners say they fear Iran's tiny Mosquito subs more than its big warships? Is it because in Hormuz, one unseen torpedo or hidden mine can do more than a dozen fast boats ever could? Iranian commanders now openly say their trigger-ready submarines are patrolling the world's most critical oil route, turning the Strait of Hormuz into an underwater chessboard. On May 10th, Navy Chief Shahram Irani confirmed that Ghadir-class minisubs are deployed inside Hormuz itself, not just in wider Gulf waters, signaling a forward posture right under tanker lanes. The Navy says Ghadir boats are positioned to respond to any threats, language widely read as a warning to US warships enforcing Trump's blockade and to commercial traffic seen as leverage. These domestically built light submarines, often nicknamed the Dolphins of the Persian Gulf, a nod to their small size, agility, and ability to disappear into murky, shallow channels. According to the commander, these boats can bottom rest on the seabed for extended periods in strategic waters, using the shallow Gulf environment to their advantage. This bottom rest capability allows the submarines to monitor and, if required, engage hostile vessels moving through choke points such as the Strait of Hormuz, Irani noted. He said the submarines were employed during an operation launched in response to the attack on the Iranian warship IRGC in and around the Hormuz approaches and northern Indian Ocean. After carrying out formation maneuvers during that mission, the submarines submerged again to continue their assigned tasks, according to his account. Iran is believed to have roughly 19 to 23 Ghadir-class submarines active in its southern fleet, giving it a dense undersea presence in the Persian Gulf and around Hormuz. Each Ghadir is built specifically for shallow water warfare in and around the Strait of Hormuz, where depths and currents frustrate larger submarines and traditional anti-submarine tactics. The boats are about 29 meters long with a displacement in the 117 to 150 ton range, making them closer in size to a big truck than to a classic attack submarine. They use diesel-electric engines and are designed for a low acoustic signature, allowing them to blend into the background noise of tankers, tugs, and coastal industry. Open-source estimates give them up to roughly 50 days of endurance on patrol if supplied and sheltered carefully along Iran's coastline. Typical crew strength is believed to be around 7 personnel, a tiny team compared to the dozens needed to run a large Western sub. The basic design is based on the North Korean Yono-type midget submarine, adapted and modified to suit Iranian waters and tactics. Iranian outlets often claim the Ghadir can execute a rapid dive from harbor in about 30 seconds, letting it slip below the surface before enemy sensors or drones can react. Each Ghadir is fitted with two 533mm torpedo tubes, limiting total loadout but still giving it a lethal punch against individual ships. They are reported to fire Iranian Hoot and Valfar anti-ship torpedoes, including superfast variants designed to close the distance before defenders can respond. Iran has also tested JASC-2 anti-ship missiles launched from submerged Ghadir subs, adding a covert standoff strike option beyond straight torpedo runs. In addition to direct attacks, Ghadir boats can secretly lay naval mines in shipping lanes, a capability many experts describe as their most destabilizing weapon. Some reports even suggest they may carry portable air defense systems on deck for use when surfaced, though their main threat remains below the waves. Shallow water, dense traffic, and complex currents in Hormuz create a perfect environment for small subs, where bigger boats and high-end sensors struggle to see clearly. Acoustic clutter from tankers, tugs and merchant ships masks the faint sound of slow diesel-electric boats, giving Ghadirs plenty of background noise to hide inside. Much Western anti-submarine gear was built for deep, open oceans, not for noisy coastal choke points like Hormuz, where reflections, clutter, and shallow depths degrade performance. Iran is deliberately exploiting that mismatch, using geography and modest platforms so its minisubs and mines can threaten far superior navies without ever matching them ship for ship. Iran's IRGC has issued a sharp warning against any attacks on the nation's oil tankers or commercial vessels, framing them as a red line in the ongoing standoff with the United States. Tehran threatened that any fresh strike on Iranian shipping would trigger a heavy attack on U.S. military bases and allied warships operating in the region. The IRGC Aerospace Force added that its missiles and drones have already locked onto designated targets, according to a statement carried by Press TV. Brigadier General Said Majid Mousavi, a senior IRGC commander, said Iranian forces are now waiting for the final order to fire, emphasizing that the weapons are pre-targeted and ready. The senior commander described the U.S. military buildup around the Gulf as a direct provocation against Iran, arguing that it is designed to coerce rather than stabilize the region. Iran said the warning sends a crystal-clear message that Tehran will not tolerate any further aggression against its maritime or energy infrastructure. The threat followed a series of confrontations near the port of Jarsk after U.S. forces targeted Iranian ships and tankers engaged in regional transit. Iran claimed that the IRGC Navy responded with a precise and overwhelming counter-operation, intended to reverse the impact of the U.S. strikes. The alleged response reportedly included anti-ship ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, and high-explosive drones deployed against tracked vessels and support assets. Iranian media claimed that the strikes forced U.S. warships to retreat from the area in disarray, portraying the engagement as a tactical setback for Washington. Tehran also accused Washington of threatening regional maritime security and key shipping lanes, arguing that U.S. operations create the main source of instability in the Gulf. The IRGC added that only sea corridors authorized by Iran are considered safe for transit through the Strait of Hormuz, insisting that vessels must comply with Tehran's controls. Iran warned that any foreign force making a hostile move in the designated maritime zone would face immediate confrontation, leaving no room for ambiguity in its stance. Meanwhile, Donald Trump responded with a series of cryptic posts on Truth Social, hinting at future military steps and raising fears that the exchange could trigger further escalation. Iran's new threats came as Trump said he might restart Project Freedom in the Strait of Hormuz, suggesting a return to his plan to guide stranded ships through the waterway.
We may go back to Project Freedom if things don't happen, but should it be Project Freedom Plus, meaning Project Freedom Plus other?
Donald Trump has announced the launch of Project Freedom, a UN-led initiative aimed at helping dozens of merchant ships stranded in and around the Strait of Hormuz, starting from May 4th. Trump described the operation as a humanitarian gesture intended to assist neutral country vessels and their crews caught in the war zone, many of which are running low on supplies while waiting for safe passage. However, U.S. officials later clarified to outlets such as the Wall Street Journal that Project Freedom would not involve direct naval escorts in the way his initial remarks implied. Instead, the White House outlined the creation of a maritime coordination cell that will identify and share safe routes through the strait, clear of mines and high-risk areas, while coordinating with commercial shipping lines and allied navies. This signals a more limited, advisory role for the U.S. military than the image of warships physically shepherding tankers through the choke point that Trump's announcement initially suggested. Subsequently, Trump announced he was halting Project Freedom just 36 hours after its launch, citing progress in negotiations and pressure from regional allies. As President Donald Trump publicly pushed for peace negotiations with Iran, U.S. military forces opened fire on an Iran-flagged tanker in the Gulf of Oman. The United States said the vessel was attempting to reach an Iranian port in violation of the ongoing maritime blockade in the region. U.S. Central Command confirmed the incident in an official statement released on May 6, detailing the military confrontation at sea. According to CENTCOM, a U.S. fighter jet fired several rounds at the unloaded Iranian-flagged tanker, ultimately disabling the vessel during the operation.